Hello! In today's podcast, you'll learn about superstitions around the world. Some superstitions bring good luck and some bring bad. Do you believe in superstitions? Do we believe in them? You're going to find out in this episode of
Aprender Inglés with Reza and Craig.
Welcome to the podcast. My name's Craig.
And my name's Reza.
And with nearly 60 years of teaching between us, we'll help you improve your English and take it to the next level. How are you, Reza?
I'm feeling good. I'm on a high after that very nice coffee you just made for me. Thanks very much. It did the trick.
Good.
It pepped me up.
It's always a pleasure to get you high. Our first... Legally, with caffeine and cookies. First this week, we have a voice message from Julia, who speaks about the C2 proficiency exam.
Hi Craig, hi Reza, I'm Julia, and this is my first time sending a voice message. I've got my C2 proficiency exam coming up next week, so I've been studying for it and preparing for it, and one of the things I do to study for it is listen to your podcasts, and I've been catching up on the episodes. And recently I was listening to episode 498, which is all about politeness. And at the end of the episode, you shared some information about intonation and how in British English, there's a certain intonation for politeness in saying things like, "Is this seat free?" for example. And I just thought that was fascinating. And I think politeness and intonation go hand in hand sometimes. And I think sometimes language teachers don't give intonation the importance it really has in lessons. So I'm really happy that you did that in your podcast. And I was wondering if you think there are other instances or other cases in which intonation is important for language learners like myself. Thank you so much for everything you do, and I'll keep on listening to your podcasts. Bye.
Well, Julia, thanks so much for your message. And what a clear message it was. Not only because your grammar and vocabulary were very, very accurate, if not 100% accurate, but your pronunciation, wow. Would you teach me how to speak with received pronunciation, the way they speak in the Oxford English Dictionary? Because I don't in my accent from Northern Ireland, but you were pretty close to it. Wouldn't you agree, Craig?
Yeah, lovely pronunciation, Julia. So I'm pretty sure that you won't have many problems in the speaking part of the C2 exam. Please let us know how it goes when you get your results. We'd love to hear from you after you take the exam. There's just one very small thing, and it's not a mistake, it's just a comment I'm going to make. When you spoke about pronunciation and intonation and its importance, you said that many teachers don't give intonation the importance it has. I would probably say the importance it deserves, because give something the importance it deserves is a very strong collocation. Any other comments, Reza?
Just that I really love your voice, and I would be very surprised if you had any major problems in certainly the speaking part of your proficiency exam. But good luck.
And we have spoken about politeness and pronunciation and how it's connected. If you go to episode 498 of the podcast, Julia, which is called English Expressions That Could Be Rude or Impolite, we speak a little about pronunciation there. So that's inglespodcast.com/498. I agree with you that politeness and intonation go hand in hand, as you said. Some teachers say that you should use could instead of can to be more polite. Yes, I agree with that. You should use would instead of will. You should say, would you like instead of do you want? All of this is true. However, I think the intonation and making your voice more musical, going up like this and coming down, and having that nice intonation in your voice when you're asking for things I think that matters more than the words you choose. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can say, do you want another chocolate cake? Do you want another biscuit? And that rising and falling makes the expression really polite, even though in many course books it's going to say, would you like, to sound more polite.
Yeah, but if you say, would you like another chocolate biscuit? It doesn't sound that polite because you didn't use the intonation.
It sounds like you don't want them to have another biscuit. It sounds like you want all the biscuits for yourself. We also spoke about intonation in English in episode 268. So go to inglespodcast.com/268. And I spoke to Hadar Shemesh, who has a very successful YouTube channel. Reza wasn't on that podcast, but for more pronunciation, tips and advice, go to episode 474, which is called How to Improve Your English Pronunciation with Hadar Shemesh. And it's inglespodcast.com/474.
So, shall we start talking about common superstitions?
Why not? Let's do it.
Well, let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. So we'll begin by talking about superstitions that bring bad luck. Well, the first one is one which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. It's the fact that you shouldn't open an umbrella in the house. That's a very commonly believed superstition, even today. What about you, Craig? Do you avoid opening umbrellas in the house?
I don't know because I don't believe in superstitions, but my mum would shout at us if we opened an umbrella in the house, which made me think, I think many of these superstitions are passed down through families from generation to generation. And I think sometimes you do them or don't do them automatically because of what your parents have said to you. My mum did say very, very often, don't open an umbrella in the house, and also don't put keys on the table, which is another one of my mum's famous superstitions. It's bad luck if you put keys on the table. Did your mum say anything similar?
About the umbrella, yes, but the keys, no, to be honest. I've never really thought about the keys, and we would put keys on the table in our house, and we never really thought about it. But the umbrella was something that I've always avoided myself as well, but not so much for the superstition reasons, but I've thought that if you open an umbrella in a house, there's a good chance it's going to hit something and break it, an ornament or something. So just don't do it for that reason. Maybe it comes from that idea.
But if it's raining and you've used an umbrella and you come in your house, the umbrella's going to be wet. And if you don't have anywhere to put it, you have to dry it. You don't leave it closed. So you need to open it to dry it, even if you put it in the shower.
That's a fair point. Yeah, and I often do that. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I often will open the umbrella and leave it in the shower for it to dry. Yeah, I guess I'm invoking bad luck.
That's why you're so unlucky, mate. Yeah. Another one which is very common is breaking a mirror. If you drop a mirror and it breaks, or somehow you break your bathroom mirror or something, apparently people say that it can cause 7 years of bad luck. I don't know why it's 7 years. Maybe there's a reason. Any thoughts?
I have no idea why they say 7, but yes, I've heard it. I think you're pretty unlucky if you break a mirror because they can cost quite a lot of money to repair.
Exactly. Another myth, let's say, because I'm really anti-superstitions, I'm sorry, is spilling salt. If you're sitting at the table and Reza says, pass the salt, please, and you try to pass it to Reza, but you spill it, which means it goes on the tablecloth or on the table, that is supposed to be unlucky. Now, that's quite easy to understand because years and years ago, salt was very, very valuable. Before we had fridges, people used to keep food preserved in salt, which is why we get paid a salary, because sal means salt in some languages still. So it was really, really valuable. And if you spilled salt, you're wasting money, something valuable.
And Craig, I've also heard something about throwing a pinch of
Schalt?
Schmaltz? Schmaltz? Schmaltzy. No, yada, yada, yada.
Start again.
I've also heard something about throwing a pinch of salt over your left shoulder, but I'm not quite sure what that's about. Is it connected?
Yes, because I think you're supposed to do it immediately. If you spill salt on the table, you're supposed to take a pinch of salt between two fingers and throw it over your left shoulder into the eye of the devil who is looking over your shoulder.
Ah, right. I think I've heard, is it something to do with the Bible? Is that a biblical thing?
There's something in the Bible about salt because someone looked behind and was turned into a pillar of salt.
Something
Lot's
like that, yeah.
wife, I think.
Lot, yeah.
Yeah, that was his lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's connected. I honestly don't know.
Craig, what does Friday the 13th mean to you?
It was a very good horror film
Yeah.
with Jason killing people. Anyway, it's considered an unlucky day. So Friday the 13th, not the best day to get married, people say, or to go to a casino, or to get out of bed. Some people are very, very suspicious about Friday the 13th. Are you?
No, I must admit I'm not. It's something I quite often mention, but I'm joking. It doesn't really bother me. But I'll tell you a curious thing. Did you know that in Spain it used to be Tuesday the 13th that people were worried about?
Why Tuesday?
I don't know, but the Spanish tradition in the past was to be superstitious of Tuesday the 13th. But I suppose they've been influenced by the English-speaking world a lot, and they've seen that famous horror film, and they've been exposed to a lot of American TV and films. So now the Spanish have kind of adopted the idea that it's Friday, but it used to be Tuesday the 13th in Spain.
Interesting. Now, giving someone white flowers is highly offensive in China because white flowers are associated with death and funerals in some Asian countries, especially China. So in the West, if someone dies, you go to a funeral, it's tradition to wear black as a sign of respect. However, in China, you wear white. So if you give someone white flowers, that's a very, very negative and offensive thing to do.
Yeah, I've heard that they'll presume that you're wishing death upon them, that you want them to die, so they will not be pleased.
And don't put your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, didn't know that.
It represents the incense that burns when someone dies at a funeral. So you should always lay your chopsticks next to the bowl of rice. Never just stick them in the rice. That's also offensive.
Oh, wow.
Let's take a quick break here because I know you listen to this podcast to take your English to the next level. But what about your speaking? Is your fluency improving? Are you happy with your speaking skills? My conversation course focuses on making you a more confident and more fluent English speaker. You'll join me and a small group of motivated students, and we'll meet on Zoom and have topical discussions, role plays, debates, and presentations that will expand your vocabulary and help you express yourself effectively in English. So be proactive and take the first step towards becoming a confident and fluent English speaker. Send me an email today to craig@inglespodcast.com and I'll send you details of the next online conversation course. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the podcast. Our next bad luck superstition is putting new shoes on the table. Apparently, putting new shoes on a table will bring you bad luck. Obviously, if you put dirty shoes on the table, then I would get a slap or a hit from my wife because I'd make the tablecloth dirty.
I must admit, it really bothers me as well. The idea that someone would put their shoes on a table bothers me a lot.
Dirty or clean?
Either. Well, for me, even if they look clean, they're going to be dirty. I mean, shoes have been in the street.
Brand new, if you bought them in a shop.
It bothers me a lot. I don't like it. I don't mind bare feet. Bare feet are okay, or feet with socks. But shoes have been in the street. Who knows what you walked on in the street. So it's not superstition, but it really bothers me. I don't like it at all, personally. Do you do it sometimes?
No, I wouldn't do it. And I really love cultures that make you take off the shoes when you go into the house. In Japan, for example, it's customary to leave your shoes at the door, which makes sense because you don't know what you're stepping in or treading in, especially in Valencia.
Yeah. I must admit, the next one we got in our list is something that I do pay attention to. I feel really silly because I know there's no logic to it, but I avoid walking under ladders because it's said to bring bad luck. And I admit, I do think about it. So if there is a ladder in front of me and I could walk either side of it, I always go out of my way not to walk under it. I admit it. What about you?
I do the opposite.
You walk under it?
If I see a ladder, and it's obviously, if it's safe, then I walk under the ladder to tempt the devil.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
come on then, give me your worst. So to tempt the devil is to give temptation to the devil to do something bad to me. And I've heard different reasons and stories for not walking under a ladder. And the only one I can remember is that it breaks the Holy Trinity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the triangle of the Holy Trinity. And if you walk under it, you break it.
Yeah. One practical reason, and it's pretty obvious though.
Spanish workman.
Any workman, particularly if somebody's painting. I mean, if you walk under a ladder with somebody's painting, I mean, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Even if it's the tiniest little drop of paint, well, that's it. You've ruined your clothes. So, I mean, clearly don't walk under a ladder of somebody's painting.
Or worse, someone dropping a hammer or something heavy on your head. So it makes sense. It does make sense from a health and safety perspective.
Now, I'll tell you a really weird one I found out because apart from the ones we already knew, I wanted to do a little bit of internet research and I checked in a couple of different sources to make sure it was true. Apparently, whistling at night in Korea is avoided because they think it may attract bad spirits to your presence. So they hear you whistling. I suppose it's relevant that it's nighttime, you know. Ooh, here they come. Ooh, the bad spirit. You've attracted their attention and they're bad. So now what? They might muck about with you. They're going to do something terrible. And I also found that in Lithuania, for the same reason, because it's something which attracts bad spirits, they never whistle, but indoors. You can whistle outdoors, but not indoors, not in your house, because then the bad spirits come into your house. They feel they've been invited. So do your whistling outdoors anytime, but indoors, night or day, don't whistle in Lithuania.
Interesting. I like people whistling wherever it is. I just think it's a sign of people being in a good mood and being happy. So I like it when people whistle. If they whistle in tune, of course, and it's pleasant.
Well, if you ever find yourself in Korea and you're with a group of Koreans, don't start whistling at night. I'm sure they won't appreciate it.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. The number 33, I've read that is unlucky in Naples. I don't know if it's only in Naples or in other parts of Italy, because it's the age at which Jesus died. So he was 33 when he passed on.
Supposedly.
And the number 33 is supposed to be unlucky. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before. And as you just said, it's very specific to Naples, yeah?
I think so. That's what I read.
Okay. Also in Italy, well, we all know that 13 is a bad number, but in Italy, they get particularly worried if it's at a dinner party. There can't be 13 guests.
Not enough chairs? Not enough chairs? Maybe?
That would be the first thing, yeah. But 13 in general, I'm sure nearly all listeners know, because this is a very common one. People don't like 13 in many countries around the world. In fact, there are even buildings which don't have a number 13 floor. So obviously there is a floor which is physically the 13th, but they will jump from number 12 to 14. So they will call 13 14 just to avoid using 13, because I suppose there'll be people who just won't buy it or who won't sleep in it. The same for hotel rooms. Room 13, nobody wants to sleep, or not many people really want to sleep. Nobody asks for room 13. But did you know, Craig, in Japan, it isn't 13, it's number 4 in Japan.
Oh, wow. Do you know why?
I don't know. It's just considered unlucky. So in Japan, there are buildings with no floor 4. So floor number 5 is really floor number 4 in Japan.
That's good to know. Do you have a lucky number?
I've always liked the number 7, and I believe in many cultures that is a lucky number.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's one of my numbers as well. I like 7, I like 12 for some reason.
The disciples, maybe?
I just like it because you can divide it by 3, you can divide it by 4. It's just a nice round number. You can divide it by 2, by 6. It's a very friendly number, whereas 7 is a prime number, isn't it? You can't divide it by anything.
That's true.
Now in Sweden, let's go to Sweden, and apparently in Ireland too, some people believe that killing a spider will bring on rain or a storm. So it brings bad weather. And that's interesting because I remember when I was very young, my mum used to tell me that the very, very small spiders were money spiders and we shouldn't kill those spiders because if we kill them, we won't get any money. So I didn't kill them, and 62 years later, I still don't have much money. So maybe she was wrong.
She may have been wrong there. Yeah.
But that's an interesting one, isn't it? About spiders in Ireland and Sweden.
Particularly, I grew up hearing it from many people because I grew up in Ireland. And I never stopped to think until I was an adult. Hold on. Don't kill spiders because it might rain. It's always bloody raining in Ireland. So somebody somewhere is killing spiders all day. Somebody's not following the rules because there's barely a day that it doesn't rain.
Yeah, everyone's killing spiders. That's why it's so wet in Ireland. Now, we may have spoken about this before. This rings a bell, which means it looks familiar to me, that during the war, it's unlucky to get a light for your cigarette from the same flame. So probably the First World War, they used matches, not lighters. And you're smoking, so you light maybe your cigarette and then you offer it to the person next to you. But it's unlucky for the third person to take a light for his cigarette from the same flame. Do you know why?
Yes, I think I do, because the light which comes out of the burning cigarette will draw the attention of the other side, perhaps a sniper, who then knows where you are. So when they see the first cigarette being lit, then they know roughly where you are, but not exactly. The second,
They aim.
they know a lot better now they aim. And the third one, then they know exactly where you are. It's the third one who gets hit.
Now, that is the only superstitions so far in this podcast that makes sense to me.
Totally logical, yeah. I heard something similar in general in war, not only for the cigarettes, but also if you fire a gun, particularly at night, be careful on your third shot because they now know where you are.
Yeah.
So what they often used to do, snipers fighting each other. So if there were snipers, that's people who are sitting just waiting for a target on either side, they'd fire 2 shots, then move.
Yeah.
Never the third one. So they'd take one, hopefully get the target. If not, take a second one. But the third one, never in the same place. So they moved because they know, because they're looking for the third shot. So they'd move somewhere else, take the 2 shots, move somewhere else, but never the third one, because then they know where you are and they're going to get you before you get them.
Exactly. I think that's common military practice. It's bang, bang, move, bang, bang, move. I think that's what they teach soldiers. Now, in Brazil, this one doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. In parts of Brazil, if you point at stars in the night sky, it's thought to give you warts on your fingers. Now, a wart is a very ugly part of skin that grows out. If you think of typical pictures of witches with warts on their nose, for example, it's an ugly growth, something growing out of your skin. But this time it's on your finger if you point to the stars. And I just wonder what you should point with if it's not your finger.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the last one, which brings bad luck, we got, is a common one amongst children in English-speaking countries, and that is that you shouldn't step on the cracks in the pavement. So the bits where the big paving stones are joined together, the lines in the middle, don't step there because that brings bad luck. So you find kids kind of jumping and skipping around, trying to land their feet in the middle, not at the edge. I admit I did that for a while when I was a kid. Did you?
Yeah, me too. But it's very common with people that have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. If you've seen the film with Jack Nicholson, As Good as It Gets, that's the English title of it, then he is avoiding the cracks in the pavement because he has OCD. So maybe that's connected somehow, that you shouldn't do it because it's breaking something in the world of superstition, perhaps. So those are some bad superstitions. Let's look at some good ones, Reza. Superstitions that bring people luck.
Yes, there's one which is believed in some countries, but we think it originally started in Russia. And that is that when a bird poops on you, when it goes to the toilet on you, presumably it's not sitting on you, right? The bird's up in the sky, yeah? But what comes out of the bird falls onto you. That's actually good luck in some countries because it's such a rare event. Has it ever happened to you? Has a bird ever pooped on you?
Oh, yes, it's happened to me. I've also stepped in dog's poop many times, and that's supposed to be good luck. I don't know why. Why would it be good luck to have shit on your shoes or on your shoulder from a bird? It doesn't make any sense to me, but maybe because it's unusual, it's something that doesn't often happen, but that doesn't make sense either, so I don't know.
I don't mind the birds. I can put up with them. It's only happened to me a couple of times, but I must admit I get very angry when I stand in dog's dirt on the ground because I think, did the dog owner have to leave it there? Could they not have collected it? It really bothers me. The birds, poor things, can't help themselves, but dog owners could pick up after them. And having been a dog owner myself who always picked up after me, it bothers me that some people don't.
Yeah, please, if you're listening to this and you have a dog, please pick up after your dog's poop. Your dog, your poop, your problem. Touching wood or knocking on wood. Thank you. Knocking on wood is giving good luck because it's avoiding bad fate or tempting fate. It's keeping good luck on your side. Now, I think, according to what I've read, that this is from pagan times, from before Christianity, when people worshipped trees, which makes a lot of sense. So anything wooden, if you knock or touch it, that will prevent bad luck. Now, I do this, strangely, even though I'm not superstitious, and this is a typical example of something that's been passed on to me from my parents. Because whenever they said something like, we're going to the beach tomorrow, I'm sure it's not going to rain, touch wood. And then my mum or my dad would touch wood. And strangely, if there was nothing around them that was made of wood, no furniture, they would touch their head, which makes no sense whatsoever. And I still do it. I don't know why I do it.
I've seen a lot of people do that. And they also touch the head if there's no wood. Yep, that's very common.
Do you do it? Do you touch wood or knock on wood? Occasionally.
And I touch my head kind of as a joke thing because my interpretation is that my head is made of wood. I'm dumb, kind of as a joke thing. Now, our next one is certainly very common in Ireland. I don't know if it's the same in England. That is hanging a horseshoe always upside down so the two ends are pointing downwards to keep good luck from spilling out of the house. In other words, it brings good luck. Is it common in England as well?
You often see it in small villages, not so much in towns and cities, but in small country villages, country pubs, places like that. It's very common to see upside down horseshoes on the door, for example, or on the wall to symbolize good luck. Yeah. Now, crossing your fingers is a very international way of wishing people good luck. There are even many icons on your phone to send good luck to people by crossed fingers. So crossing your fingers, I don't know why people do this, but apparently it's good luck or hope for a positive outcome.
Our next one, I'm curious to know if it's extended to many countries. It certainly is in the English-speaking world. I'm talking about blowing out birthday candles in one breath. So you have to go just once. You don't get a second chance if you want to have good luck. In fact, your dreams will come true if you can blow out all the candles with one breath while you're making a wish. That wish will come true, apparently.
Do you do that? Do you? I suppose you don't have candles on your birthday cake these days, but did you when you were younger?
Yeah, of course. Just to follow the tradition, I always try to blow them out in one go. I never did though, and I'm not the luckiest person on earth.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I used to try, and then my sister or my mum and dad would help me blow them out. A robin is a kind of bird. It's very common on Christmas cards at Christmas time. It's a bird that symbolises Christmas because it has a red chest, a robin redbreast, they're called. And seeing one of these robins is believed to bring good luck or even maybe a message from a deceased loved one. So someone who you were very close to has passed on, supposedly may send you a message with a bird.
This one is one that's very close to my heart because I didn't even know about the robin till fairly recently. My dad used to always leave the scraps of food from our house out in our back garden, which you can see from the kitchen. And there's quite a lot of robins in the area, and they used to come and get the food. And it was always him that did it. My mum never bothered, and the rest of us never bothered. And I don't know if it's just chance or if word gets around. They have their own equivalent of a WhatsApp group. But
what the robins?
Yeah, their own equivalent, that for a long time afterwards, and even still occasionally, the robins would come to our garden.
It's probably on Twitter.
After my dad passed away, looking for the food. So, Twitter. Yeah, they must have tweeted. And even now, from time to time, I'll be in the kitchen and a robin will come. And I swear to you, quite often, that robin has stared me straight in the face. It's happened quite a few times. And inevitably, it makes me think of my dad. I never even knew about it representing a deceased person until a few years ago. But it happens to me quite frequently that a robin will come to my back garden in Ireland, look at me right in the face, and then fly off again. And my dad was the only person who left out scraps for the robins, and they came every day looking for them. What do you think?
Interesting. So have you taken up your dad's habit of leaving food out for them or no?
No, but they still come from time to time. Are they coming for the food, or is it something other than just a pure robin? I don't know.
A message from beyond the grave? Who knows? I mean, these are things we don't know about. Now, another superstition which is common if you're getting married is the fact that the bride, the female who is getting married, is called the bride, and they may wear a mixture of different items of clothing on their wedding day in order to bring good luck. And there's a little rhyme that some people say: something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. So you should wear an old piece of clothing, maybe something you've had for many years, or something passed from your mother or sister will be something borrowed. Something new, something you've just bought, and something that has the color blue. So those four things on your wedding day will bring you good luck according to this superstition. Now, in Spain, I know they have a similar custom about red underwear. New Year's Eve, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, panties or knickers. You're supposed to wear red, I think, to bring in the new year in a lucky way.
The next one is a very commonly held superstition in Ireland: throwing coins into a fountain, or specifically a wishing well, which is like a fountain, but it's specifically for people to wish for good luck. That's its main purpose. And hopefully that makes your wish come true. All fountains, all places with a little bit of water in Ireland will always have coins in them. Is it the same in England?
You may see coins. I remember visiting Rome and seeing so many fountains in Rome, seeing most of them full of coins. I think that must be very lucky for the people who clean the fountains.
Yeah.
Nice tip. Another one that's common in the UK, and I haven't seen this in Spain. I don't know if you've seen a clover. A clover is a very, very small green piece of grass, isn't it? It's a kind of like I don't know if it's a weed, a piece of grass that's a negative plant that will take the space from the other grass. I don't know if it's a good plant or a bad plant, but these clovers have 3 leaves, and they're very, very small. Apparently, if you find one that has 4 leaves, it's a rare sign of good luck. And growing up in the UK, growing up near London, whenever I saw in a park clovers, I did look for 4-leaf clover, never ever found one. What about you?
Yep, looked for them, never found them. And here we are not the luckiest guys on earth.
Oh, I think we're fairly lucky. I think we're fairly
Could have
lucky.
been worse. Life could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse, especially if you're a rabbit, because if you're a rabbit and you lose your foot, you're not very lucky. So if you carry a rabbit's foot with you as a charm, which is something that will give you good luck, then you will be lucky. You will have good fortune. So I don't know why, but the foot of a rabbit is supposed to be very good luck if you carry it with you.
Achoo.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
So when someone sneezes, why do people say bless you? And is that good luck?
That's what they say. Saying bless you will give you protection from evil spirits. A very old superstition. Well, as you know, the full version is God bless you. But very often in modern English, we don't bother to say the bit with God, but it's God bless you. So God will give you protection from evil spirits, which is obviously a good thing.
This is also something for me that's very ingrained, which means very deep inside my behavior from my parents, similar to touch wood or knock on wood. If someone sneezes automatically, I'll probably say bless you. I don't know why, but it's very deeply rooted. You too?
Me too.
The last one on our list of good luck is seeing the numbers 1111. Imagine a digital clock where you have two pairs of numbers. So 1111, 1111 is supposed to be good luck. Now, I've never heard this before, but this is what I've learned by preparing this podcast. Did you hear about that?
I have. And I often see those numbers. I've heard that double numbers in general. So if you see, for example, 2222, 22 minutes past 10, that's also good luck. I've heard that in general, it's two of something repeated. So 3333, whatever. But 1111 is especially lucky, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
I
didn't know that.
I had heard it before, yeah.
I'll be looking for that in the future. Now, there are some things that could be good luck or they could be bad luck, depending on what culture you're from, what country you live in. For example, seeing a single magpie. What's a magpie, Reza?
A magpie is a bird called urraca in Spanish. Are you impressed that I knew it?
I'm knocked over with with astonishment at your knowledge of birds, Spanish birds.
A black and white bird. I've bothered to learn it because it means quite a bit to me. There are lots and lots of magpies in the area where my parents live in Ireland. So I often see magpies.
Magpies and robins.
Yeah.
So if you see a magpie, is there anything you should do or say?
I always think to myself, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, and 7 for a story never to be told. So depending on how many magpies you see, as Craig just said, it's bad luck if you see 1. Sorrow is bad luck. But if you see 2, it's good luck. 2 for joy. And curiously, magpies rarely are spotted on their own. Occasionally, but they nearly always are in a group. So I admit I do it to this day. When I see a magpie in Ireland, I never see them in Valencia. They're not common here. But when I'm in Ireland and I see one, I immediately go looking for a second one. And I nearly always find one. 95% of the time, I find at least 2. But occasionally I do just find one. And it bothers me.
Well, I've got some advice for you, Reza. If you only see one magpie, there's something you can say to help you. Some people say, "Hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife?" So if you say that, that is supposed to ward off misfortune. We had that phrasal verb in last week's episode, inglespodcast.com/577. To ward off misfortune is to push it away, to get rid of it, to avoid it. So if you say, "Hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife?" then that will get rid of the bad luck, remove it, and you'll have good luck. So if you don't find more than one, that's what you should do.
I'd never heard that before, but I'll bear it in mind.
There you go.
Because I do worry about magpies.
And their wives, apparently. Now, one that does change from culture to culture and country to country, and we can give an example. Black cats that walk in front of you and cross your path. Now, do you agree, Reza, that if you see a black cat and it crosses your path in front of you in the UK, that's good luck, but in Spain it's bad luck?
Yes, I'm confused. Even growing up, I was confused. I guess I must have seen things on TV or read books, and even as a child, I wasn't sure if it was good luck or bad luck. So I never remember which country says what.
I think I'm right, but if I'm wrong, listeners, please let us know. And I think the black cat for bad luck comes from witches' cats, because witches are supposed to have cats as their creatures that are attached to evil people, or good people. Harry Potter had an owl, didn't he?
Craig, one I found through experience, because it happened to me, was when I was living in Germany for a few months. I discovered that there they take toast very seriously. I'm not talking about bread. I'm talking about whenever you're having a drink and you maybe hit your glasses together, and in English you'll say something like cheers. That kind of toast.
Salud in Spanish.
Salud in Spanish. In Germany, it's very important that every person must look at every other person in the eye when you're toasting with a drink, and that gives you good luck. And if you don't do it, you'll have bad luck. And they take it seriously.
Well, I knew that because a friend of mine who's British but went to live in Germany, he told me off once. To tell someone off is to say you shouldn't do that. That's a bad thing to do, because I toasted him. I touched my glass to his glass and I looked away. I looked down at the ground. He said, "No, look at me in the eyes. You're drinking to my health." So I did not know it was a suspicion, but I did know that it was a nice thing to do, which makes sense. If you're drinking with someone, if you want to wish them good health or good luck, look them in the eyes and share the moment just for that second. Share the moment with them. And I think that's a lovely thing to do if you're drinking alcohol with someone.
Craig, do you know about the Itchy Palms?
Itchy Palms, is that a pop group from the 60s?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? It sounds like it could be.
Itchy palms. Itchy. If something's itchy, then you want to scratch it. So there's a part of your skin that's annoying you, that's calling your attention to it. And the way to get rid of the irritation is to scratch it with your nails. And the palm is the center part of your hand. So if your palm is itchy in your right hand and you're scratching your right palm, money is coming to you. But if it's your left hand, you're going to lose money. Have you heard of that before?
I hadn't heard that, no.
Yeah, my mum used to say that too. She was very superstitious.
Craig, if you saw a penny on the ground, would you pick it up or would you leave it there?
I would leave it there if it was just a penny.
That's interesting.
Would you pick it up?
No, I wouldn't either myself. No. 5 cents, a 5p, I might. That's how low I go. But a penny, I couldn't be bothered. 10p, I definitely would, because money's money. Would you bother with 5p or 10p?
Probably 10. I think I'd pick up 10 cents, I think. Yeah, definitely a euro.
You don't scrape the barrel as low as I do.
I don't scrape the barrel, no, because you don't know where it's been. Then you have to wash it and all sorts of things. I'm very careful about germs outside. Yeah.
Well, I remember something happened with my younger brother once. We were on a beach, and incredibly, something like a £20 note. It was a really high denomination, was rolling around on the beach. Obviously, it had fallen out of someone's pocket, and there was nobody else on the beach. So whoever had lost it was long gone. And we both spotted it at exactly the same time. I saw the flash, I saw that his had, and we realized at that moment then that it was a duel.
Life and death.
So I think we immediately punched each other at the same time to knock the other one out, started running towards it. We're whacking each other, and he got there first, and we dived through the air. I think we landed in the sea to get it. We didn't care, because £20, it would be like finding, £100 these days. We're talking about a long time ago, and he got there first. But we were prepared to resort to violence to get that. And he won.
Did he share it with you?
No, he did not. No. Of course he didn't.
Of course he didn't. But there is a rhyme you can say if you do see a penny on the floor. It's see a penny, pick it up. All day long, you'll have good luck. See a penny, let it lie. all day long, your luck will die.
So it's better to pick it up, according to this.
If you're superstitious, it's better to pick it up.
Craig, you mentioned earlier how Spanish people say salud, which
Cheers.
means health. Yeah, literally health, but it's their way of saying cheers when they toast. But did you know it's only good luck if you're drinking alcohol?
I did know that, yes.
It's bad luck if you're drinking something which isn't alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew about that?
Yep, knew about that. So if you're drinking water or Coca-Cola, don't say salud in Spain if you're toasting someone.
Which really isn't logical, because if you're drinking water, that's healthy. If you're drinking 20 whiskies, that is not healthy. But that's the way it is.
So Reza, do you actively look for signs in your day-to-day life about how your day might go from a superstition standpoint?
Only when I'm in Ireland, I admit, I look out for the magpies, because
And the robins?
No, I don't look out for them. They just occasionally come, but it's not that often. But I honestly normally do see at least one magpie every day when I'm in my parents' house in Ireland. So I do look out for them. I'm kind of walking from their house to get the bus ticket. Okay, magpies, let's see how many there are. And when I see one, it's like, oh no, one. I've got to find two. Oh, two. Now I feel better. After two, you're okay, but one's the bad one. So I really do look out for them. What about you?
No. If my heart's beating, if I'm alive, it's going to be a good day. So I don't. But I do those automatic knee-jerk, you could say. A knee-jerk action is when you do something without thinking. It just becomes an automatic reaction. So I do that, like touching wood, for example, or throwing salt over my shoulder sometimes. I might do that because I've been taught, indoctrinated, maybe, by my parents to do it.
Craig, do you think modern society in the 21st century is becoming more or less superstitious? Because as we said, we still continue with superstitions which are centuries old. Are we becoming more or less interested in them?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure how to answer that. I know that some people are going away from science. I think partly due to the COVID pandemic and what scientists were telling us, and we were kind of doubting what the science was as well. And I think we're losing faith in some institutions, for medicine, for media, for the judiciary and law and police, and we're losing faith in institutions. So maybe we're turning to other things like superstitions, but I don't really know. I don't have any figures or facts or data to back up that opinion. What do you think?
I partly blame internet. Blame's not really the word, but I can't think of a better word. It's partly down to internet, because now it's so easy for virtually anyone to have their opinion heard around the world.
So what you're blaming them for the fact that we're less suspicious or more suspicious?
The fact that we trust science less and fact. For me, science and fact are interchangeable. They're the same thing. What's science? It's fact.
But now it's your turn to practice your English. Are you superstitious? Are there any superstitions that we forgot to mention in this podcast? Why don't you send us a voice message? Reza, how can people send us their voice messages?
Well, the best way is to use SpeakPipe. There's a link in the show notes. It's speakpipe.com/Ingles podcast. But Craig, what if somebody wants to write?
You can send emails to me. I'm Craig, Craig, @inglespodcast.com. Or to reach Reza, send your emails to belfastreza, that's R-E-Z-A, Reza, @gmail.com. And if you're a Spanish speaker and you want to improve your English with free and paid resources, why not visit the Mansion Ingles website at mansioningles.com. And for paid products, you can browse the online store at store.mansioningles.net.
As always, a big thank you to all our Patreon supporters. If you're interested, you could join the program. There's a link in the show notes. It's patreon.com/Ingles podcast. And as a way of saying thank you for joining that program and donating a little bit of money, we will give you access to the audio transcriptions of all the words, every word which is said in the podcast. And as a little added bonus, you'll also have the chance to sign up for live Zoom chats with Craig to practice your speaking.
We cannot mention all of our Patreon supporters here because there just isn't time. There are too many of you lovely people. But we will say hello and thank you to our latest supporters who have joined us this month. And they are Dani Puig, Marsha Darosha, Juan, and Pipo. Thank you very much to you and to everybody who is supporting us on Patreon. Now, we don't know what we're going to be speaking about next week, so we welcome your suggestions via the SpeakPipe app, and we will include your message in a future podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your friends so that more people can listen. And the music this week is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's bye-bye from me.